As we approach the mid-season of the Real Housewives of Potomac, it has become abundantly clear that the once most exciting addition to the Real Housewives franchise has become one of the most disappointing additions. Real Housewives of Atlanta was designed to show the new money, quote unquote, new money aspect of Black culture, with the original cast members like NeNe Leakes and Sheree Whitfield, and even later additions like Kandi Burrus and Kenya Moore, who appear to be self made and the first generation of wealth in their families. The goal of the Real Housewives of Potomac appeared to be to show Black high society in contrast to the new money shown in the Real Housewives of Atlanta. Real Housewives of Potomac was originally cast with women like Gizelle Bryant, Katie Ross, and even Robyn Dixon, who appeared to be at least the second or third generation of wealth in their families. Real Housewives of Potomac appeared to be cast to show the Black high society. But the show has drifted in a different direction, and instead of showing Black high society, it now seems focused on the underbelly of the Jack and Jill type society with problems with colorism, xenophobia, and questions of paternity. And the show has gone so far downhill that writers at Essence Magazine took the time to write a scathing article about how the cast of the Real Housewives of Potomac has become problematic and virtually unwatchable. So, to address the real issues with the Real Housewives of Potomac, our dream team reunited to recap at the mid-season of the Real Housewives of Potomac. What's up, you guys? So we are back. The dream team is back in full effect. I'm here with Kempire. What's up, Kempire?
Hey.
And we are here with the lovely Grace. What's up, Grace?
Hey, I've missed you guys. It's so nice to be back.
Yes, I've missed y'all too. We haven't been doing our weekly RHOP recap live stream, but we're back. We're reassembled to talk about the Real Housewives of Potomac, particularly the Essence article that pretty much laid it all out that RHOP is in trouble. There's a problem with the Real Housewives of Potomac. So we're going to talk about that today. So I want to get, as we always start off, I want to get your rating for the season so far. Your rating. I see the faces.
In the basement. I will say, for me personally, like a 3-4. But last week's episode, even though it kind of felt fillerish in some areas, it was kind of the best one for me so far, actually.
Agreed. I'm probably being generous because I think Karen, for me, has carried this season, but she can't carry a season. But she's been the light, fun energy. And then this past week's episode where she has the PAVE event, for me, that was the heart of the season. And so she's given us the light, funny energy and also trying to connect the women. You know how on RHOA they try to use Sheree to be the OG to connect the women?
Yeah.
Karen is literally doing that this season. So I'm going to be generous and give them a 6 for the season so far.
Okay, that's pretty good. So then you like her tagline when she says she's the fence, but I get what she was saying. Like she's in the middle. You like her tagline, you feel like it fits her?
Definitely.
Well, I'm with you, Grace. I feel like it's on a 3. Like I can barely watch it. I'm just being honest. I barely watch it. It barely keeps my attention because I feel like I'm gonna be honest. I don't like the voodoo accusations. I don't like the voodoo accusations, and it kind of like threw me off for the whole season. We've seen the worst. It's like it's showing the worst of Black culture, like the colorism aspect. And now, you know, when you judge the way people of African descent practice their religion, no matter what religion it is, but I feel like when you judge it and call it voodoo, like you're putting it in a category of, you know, when they say it's not of God, you're putting it in a certain category. And so I can't stand to watch it. And then when I do watch and I tune in and they playing chicken shit bingo, it's like, okay, girls, what is going on?
So low budget, my goodness. And you know, I'm always wondering this because I was covering another show, Family Chantal, and there was like a thing about voodoo in there too. And I'm like, why does voodoo get such a bad rap? Why is it such a negative thing? I just truly don't understand, because I remember visiting New Orleans with my friends. We went to the Voodoo Museum. We learned a lot about it, and I don't see anything wrong with it. I feel like it's done less harm than a lot of religions that are, you know what I mean? I feel like it's done less harms. I don't get it.
And the thing is, too, and I think what's important here is voodoo is someone else's belief and religion. And if we just leave it at that and not the connotations or stereotypes around the words voodoo, I think people would look at it differently. And literally, I just was in Japan and I'm going to these different shrines that they go to.
Oh my God.
How dare you?
That's the thing. There are different cultures and religions that use shrines as their places of worship. So when you think about those elements, just being flippant with the word shrines or voodoo, you don't realize who you're offending.
Yeah. I think I'll say this because I feel like people use the term voodoo for like a number of different religions. I don't think there's just one that people are calling voodoo. I think anything that's not Christian or Catholic or Muslim or one of the major religions, they call it voodoo. And for people, so I feel like I've grown differently from how I was raised. But Grace, when you were saying why does voodoo get a bad rap? From someone who was raised, I don't know what you would call it. It's not like Orthodox Christian, but like a really strict Christian. Like people say, okay, Christian religions are of God, and anything that's not of God is not of God. Like it's the opposite. And so that's why it gets such a bad rap because people feel like it's evil. And I don't feel like it's fair. I don't, first of all, I just don't think, I don't think it's fair and I don't think it's accurate.
Yeah. It's also dangerous.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very dangerous. So for me, that's bringing down the show. Like it's declassing the show, and I just can't get into it. I can't.
And I feel like a lot of people are saying that. I see, it's one for Twitter to say it, but when you see it on multiple platforms of people saying the same thing, I can't watch it. But people have been saying that even when we were doing our recaps, they said, we'll watch your recaps, but I can't watch the show because now it's becoming too triggering between the colorism, the mean girl behavior, the hazing. A lot of people have been saying this, and I feel like this is the season where we're starting to see it actually relate in their live viewer numbers.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly.
So y'all are in here. Shout out to y'all. I'm live streaming on Facebook, and y'all are here from YouTube as well. So shout out to y'all. Yes, the trio is back. The dream team is back. And we're gonna get into it. Sophie Junkie said, finally, people covering Potomac. It's a reason why a lot of people are not covering this season.
Yeah. And a lot of people aren't watching.
Right.
Yeah. It's disappointing. When it came out, we all thought, wow, a breath of fresh air. Like it was so promising and exciting, but can I be honest with you guys? And a lot of people don't like when you say this, but I feel like as much as the network wants Gizelle to be the anchor in the face, she's just not capable of it. She's too, she's trying to ice people out. She's trying to shut things down. Like Empire was mentioning earlier, it's Karen who was the bridge, who's trying to get her to open up and interact with people. And Gizelle's not capable of that. She's not capable of authenticity. She's not capable of vulnerability. So why is she here? I don't get it.
Even with her own daughters, we usually love those scenes with her daughters. Even the season, you could see that she is having emotions behind Grace leaving, but she's just not able to share it. She's just not able to do it. 8 seasons in, she can't be vulnerable on camera.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. She can't be vulnerable. I feel like Gizelle had some type of trauma. And I know at one point Karen mentioned her being in Sing Sing, some type of mental facility. So I don't know if it comes from whatever happened to her in her past, but I do agree that she's not able to be the face. From what we've heard, the Bravo executives want Gizelle and Robyn reasonably shady. Like they want them to be the face of RHOP. But I don't feel like Gizelle or Robyn has that ability.
No.
Yeah, I agree.
And we saw that. Remember Ultimate Girls Trip? The girls, they were having conversations. They were opening up. Then here comes Gizelle with a producer hat on with this damn tequila storyline that was just so forced and boring. She's always like that.
And she doesn't even bring great shade at the reunion. Her own friend, Kenya, drags her for not bringing the shade at the reunion. Like there has to be some sort of redeeming quality of Gizelle. And look, in the early years, I'm not going to take it away from Gizelle. She was fun. She was a little bit more interesting. But as the years have gone on, she's become less interesting, less important.
Yeah, I thought she would be interesting. Like season 1, I had high hopes. I was like, okay, she's bringing something to the table, but it kind of went like downhill. Like, oh, she's not going to talk about herself. Like she's just going to be kind of like Phaedra. Like she's going to give you scenes. Like she's going to fake these little scenes with these boyfriends that are not really her boyfriend.
But at least Phaedra's funny. At least Phaedra's funny and she can read you down.
Exactly.
Yeah, she can. She can. But I don't know. I don't think I'm in it for the reads. I don't think that's what draws me to the show. For me, what I want to see, I love to see the luxury, and I feel like I'm not seeing that. And I do like to see the
Or the
conflict.
fashion. You don't love Giselle's fashion?
Come on now.
You didn't see that new confessional look that she was sporting, that blue with the feathers?
Oh my God. But I feel like that was good for her. Like that was a good look for her, you know.
With the shake and go wig.
Right. But what do you guys think? Because one of the themes of the Real Housewives franchise that I feel like RHOP doesn't live up to is the luxury. But what do you guys think about
Here's the thing. I think because all of us, we cover these shows and we hear the behind the scenes tea. A lot of these shows, a lot of these women on Real Housewives do not have the money that they portray. I think they just do a better job of pretending than Potomac. Potomac is they're not really pretending well enough. I think they were trying in the beginning, but I think that is the problem. And I don't know if that's a production problem, an editing problem, but a lot of these women do not have the money that they pretend to have. And I think the problem for Potomac is that they're not able to pretend well.
Why do you think that is? I have to ask, because when I look at Potomac and even like in some respects Atlanta, it's not like the New York, it's not like the Beverly Hills. And we know that their money is kind of funny there too. So why is it that certain people, like, do they have a higher baseline and then they just add on top? Or is it, what is it?
Or is it production setting them up? Because they are Black cities.
Right. And that's what I feel like, even if they don't have the money, and like we know in other shows, even like the new RHONY reboot, you could tell some of those girls don't have the money, but Bravo has the money. So when it comes to like their trips and different things, I still feel like there's an aspect of luxury missing that Bravo could fill in, at least when it comes to the trips. Like we all live regular lives, but when you go on vacation, you know what I mean? Like you like to turn it up a bit, and we're not seeing that.
I mean, you're right, because like I said, I feel like they've done it like in cities, Dubai, because they knew people would expect Dubai to be luxury and things like that. Not all those chicks over in Dubai have money, and there were some editing mistakes that were made in season 1 that revealed it and called it out. So we know production has their hand in, and that's also a truly original production that produces Potomac and Atlanta. Just saying.
Shout out to Mims. Mims is in the building. He said, in response to the reasonably shady, he said, reasonably devoid of emotional intelligence.
I agree. So shady. And congrats on 100K, Mims. That's
amazing. Congratulations. So, we were talking behind the scenes because there are a lot of things that are brought to the show, and I feel like the production company allows it. Like some of the issues with RHOP, some of the things that people take issue with are like the colorism, the xenophobia, as far as how people practice their religions, things like that. But it's not edited out. Like the production, I don't know if it's the producer, the showrunner, Eric Fuller, or what. We were having that conversation about who allows them to bring these things to the show. Yeah. And so I want to know, we'll start with the xenophobia, and then we'll get into the essay claims, like Gizelle making essay claims. But do y'all feel like his production, like, should it have been edited out? The accusations of Wendy being Osu and her mom practicing voodoo, should those have been allowed to air?
It's so tough to say, to be honest with you. Like, it is damaging to have that out there. But at the same time, I do think we should spotlight, and shine a light on ignorance and how it still exists and these sorts of things at the same time. You know what I mean? So it would be nice to have a balancing act between the two. But I don't see we got the balance. We got the ignorance being spotlighted, but we don't see the thing that remedies that quite yet.
Very much like at the reunion last season, when they should have had a person that's educated on colorism moderate a conversation on colorism, and not put it to your employees to make the decision whether or not to have that expert there. So for me, that was the precursor, and I'm not surprised that the problem has only gotten worse, and now it's not colorism, it's xenophobia.
Yeah. Right. So what's next? If they're showcasing the worst of Black culture, like what's next? What can we look forward to? If last season was colorism, this season is xenophobia. Like, what are we going to see next season?
God only knows. God only knows.
Mm.
But I'm so glad, and this is what brought us all together, was that article that Essence put out this past week in regards
Yeah.
to. Here's the thing. It's one thing as Black Americans to talk about what we experienced, but now we're implementing what an African person experiences, and not having a person that can navigate that conversation behind the scenes on production or at a network level. Because like Eric said, I'm not involved in casting. I'm not involved in production. Well, not production. Well, it seems like you're not involved in production, but in these other elements, he says, I'm not involved. And a lot of people had us wondering, so what exactly do you do? And it
Right.
led me to the conversation with you, Layla, before this, that it's at a network level that is navigating casting and editing and things like that. So they're failing this cast and production.
Yeah. Which I feel like we had the conversation like, okay, if the showrunner is Black, the cast is Black, but the decisions are making at a network level where the executives are white, and then the show ends up showing the worst of Black culture, you know what I mean? Like it looks racist. Like it doesn't have a balance, like you said, Grace. It doesn't have a balance of what they're showing. And maybe that's why that balance is not there. If you don't have people of color like making the big decisions, maybe that's why that balance is not there.
Yeah.
But I feel like they could have cut out, or at least not made a whole season out of the accusations, the essay accusations that Gizelle made against Chris, Candace's husband. Like she said, he made her feel uncomfortable in the hotel room, but she also said that he grabbed, what's the girl? They call her
Deborah.
Yeah, Deborah. She said that he grabbed Deborah's butt, which I don't know why Gizelle would say that. It seemed like she was just, what's she saying? Put sauce on it. She was putting sauce on it, putting 20 on 10.
She did too. This season alone, she said Chris made me go to the room, made me lock the door. And I was like, okay, now I understand why Candace is saying what she's saying this last week in regards to what you're saying is dangerous. Because now you're elevated to, oh, he made me uncomfortable, to he made you go to a room. He made you lock his door.
I feel like she's escalating it as far as the language. Like, if y'all missed it, Candace tweeted about the language that Gizelle is using. Like, she's going on and saying that she's concerned about, essay and things of that nature, but then she's making false accusations of essay and she's escalating her language. And I feel like Gizelle is doing that kind of like in a defensive mode. Like she's trying to defend because she knows it was kind of weak. What she accused Chris of was kind of weak. So now she's turning it up and saying, well, he made me go into a bedroom. It's a hotel room that he asked you to go into, but she's, turning up the language on that. And I wonder if Bravo should allow that. Should they allow that? It's so much that they cut out of these shows. So last season, when the whole season, one of the overall plots or storylines for the whole season was Chris making Gizelle feel uncomfortable, should they have allowed that?
You bring up a very valid point. I think you're right. They shouldn't have allowed her to make another level of an accusation that wasn't her original accusation. Did he make you go back to this hotel room? Did he make you close the door? I mean, it's dangerous. And I think it also puts production and the network in a legal liability.
Are you saying if they don't air it? Are you saying?
No, I think if they do air something like that, now Candace could say, well, now this is defaming. This is affecting my husband's job. Right. They could, if they wanted to. I don't think that Candace will. If they wanted to, they could talk to a lawyer and look, I'm no attorney, but
they could. But I also feel like Candace, she already got another legal situation going on. I'm sure she doesn't want to like sue her employer. Like, I don't think she wants to take that route, but I do agree. You're right. Like legally she could. And I don't think Gizelle has a leg to stand on.
And I think that's part of what you're saying in regards to them taking that out. I think to avoid that liability, I probably would have taken that out. And not aired that.
Yeah. I don't think I would have let that air either. Shout out to Mims for the super chats. In regards to the lack of luxury in RHOP, he said, I could see the Potomac girls taking out payday loans, buying stamps for crab leg boils and wearing Kandi's old hair like Karma. Oh my God. I feel bad for laughing because I do one of these things. Y'all can guess which one of these I do. But every now and then.
But you're also not on a reality show pretending like,
Right,
oh, I live this.
right.
Well, okay, technically you are. But look at Layla's confessional background.
Yes. Housewife mode.
So but you're not on a reality show pretending like, oh, I have this, I have that. So this is
Right,
what
right.
Mims is pointing out.
But if somebody is selling stamps, I will purchase, to support the community. I do that.
I didn't know you could do that.
Well, yeah, I'll tell you off. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It gotta be somebody though. It gotta be somebody because it's a level of trust that,
Oh.
because now it's a card and everything. But Foxy the Sweet said, such a beautiful panel. I get the feeling RHOP could be the next show to follow in RHOA footsteps. Ooh, what do you panel think of RHOP future? Now, Grace is having some technical difficulties. Let me see. She sent us a message. I'm sure she's trying to restart. But
Yeah.
what do you think? What do you think, Empire?
I don't think that we're going to see a reboot like we saw with RHOA. It's not easy to do a reboot. So this is part of the reason why a lot of people thought Atlanta, they're not going to reboot. They're not going to reboot it. I think they gave Atlanta 2 seasons of trying to make it work. And this is why we're getting a reboot. We're not sure what that reboot is going to look like. It might not look like what we saw on RHONY, but I can see some major changes. I wouldn't be surprised if we see an OG over at Potomac leave. And I probably think that would be regular Robyn.
Regular Robyn.
And you saw in this last episode, she's talking about, I'm going to join this franchise because I think it's important to have a diverse portfolio of money coming in. Yeah, she's probably thinking like, I'm surprised I even came back this season. They only bring me back the Juwan stuff.
Right. She knows what's really going on. She does. Robyn is so funny because it's like she comes across, and I don't know if it's because she has sons, like she lives with all men. Like she has sons, she has her husband, and she kind of comes across real tomboyish on the show, but in real life, she's really into like beauty and cosmetics and things like that, like her whole facial franchise or whatever. Yeah, she's really into beauty, but you couldn't tell it. You couldn't tell it based on the show.
And technically, I mean, really, they shouldn't get rid of Robyn because she's allegedly married. Layla, have you found the marriage certificate yet?
I have not. And to be honest with you, I'm not looking. I'm sick of her. I don't. Okay, I feel like she is Gizelle's cheerleader. She gives Gizelle the support that she should not have. Yeah. Here's great.
Sorry, guys, my computer is not with it today.
The internet. That's the life of working on the internet. Everyone will deal, right?
Yeah. But we were asking, let me put the comment back up. Foxy said, such a beautiful panel. I get the feeling RHOP could be the next show to follow in RHOA footsteps. What do you panel think of RHOP's future as far as like the casting or rebooting or what have you? Would you love to see a RHOP reboot?
I would be so happy. Not in the new RHONY new reboot kind of way, just like shake it up by getting rid of like one of like the faves. I would love to get Gizelle out of there and potentially Robyn as well, and then see what that opens the cast up to.
Yeah. Those are the main two for me as well.
Do we realistically see them getting rid of Gizelle? I could see them definitely getting rid of Robyn.
Yeah. I think Robyn, they'll probably, if they did anything with Robyn, it would be a downgrade to a friend of the show, which is appropriate for her because she's like a friend of Gizelle, but she's not like she doesn't give you main character energy. So I would love to see her go and give that spot to someone else who's going to give us more of their life, their lifestyle. I would definitely love to see Robyn go. It's a couple of them.
What about Ashley? Ashley's not giving us anything in regards to her personal story besides, getting involved in everyone else's and starting drama.
That's true too. And I do find that she's kind of like, you know how we're talking about how RHOP doesn't give luxury. I think she's kind of the pinnacle of that as well. Like even in her fashion, did you guys see what she wore to that like christening or whatever that was for Wendy's children? And then the other day she had her butt cheeks out in this very ugly like cheap romper. Like we could do without her too.
I told you I saw her at the Fashion Bomb Daily fashion show here for New York Fashion Week, and she stomped past me. I was like, "Is that what you wore to a fashion show?" Not to say I'm the most fashionable, but you got a budget. You got a budget, and you got a stylist, and you've been on television. And I was like, "Is that what you wore to the with the jeans. I was like, all right, girl.
But some people tacky, it's just in them. You know what I mean? Like it's just in them. And so I feel like for Ashley, it's just in her, like the dresses,
The
strung
entire
up
cast, except
string.
Dr. Wendy, really. I mean, Candace will give us a moment, but Wendy's consistent with her fashion.
Yeah. Yeah.
Amazing.
I actually, even though I don't like a lot of what Mia brings to the show, I do like her fashion sense. I feel like she has a good fashion sense. Yeah.
She dresses very well. But here's the thing, when you guys were talking about maybe getting rid of Robyn and then bring someone who can bring lifestyle, this and that, I think we have to remember that one of the core issues of RHOP is that Gizelle is a very bitter, miserable woman. So if another woman comes and she's beautiful, she's got the lifestyle, what do you think's going to happen? Giselle is going to rinse and repeat. She's going to attack her husband. She's going to attack everything about this woman. And we're going to end up in the same place that we end up every year still,
Yeah. That's literally what they point out in that Essence article as well.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, any woman that has like a supportive husband, a beautiful family gets attacked on the show. And that's kind of what we saw happen with Monique when she was on the show. Like Monique has that ideal housewife lifestyle, with her husband having so much money and living like a luxury lifestyle. Like she brought luxury to the show. But the article pointed out how they basically like isolated her and put her in a position of being provoked, like Candace provoking her. Yes, that was Candace, Candace's choice to do what she was doing. But at the same time, it's kind of like she was supported in provoking Monique. And that's one of the issues of the show.
Yeah.
Right.
And Candace literally is out this week. She was doing an interview with New York Live and said that she feels like the ladies are icing her out.
Yeah.
True.
I do.
I think they want Candace and Wendy out, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They've been trying since last season.
Yeah. And when y'all say they, I'm sure you mean Gizelle, Robyn, and Mia. Is that right?
Ashley.
Ashley likes to, act like she's friends with Wendy and frenemies with Candace, but she's with them. And she's with the Green Eye Bandits.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, I don't think it's fair when any part of the cast, it's almost like the cast is casting the show. You know what I mean? And they ice out anybody that they don't want on the show. We see that a lot, or saw that a lot in the past with Basketball Wives. And it doesn't make for a good show. It doesn't make for a good show at all. But I do feel like Candace is being iced out. But at the same time, I feel like Candace is confusing to viewers, like how she has a problem. Well, first of all, it's like she has this, I guess she had a secret friendship with Robyn. She really thought Robyn was her friend, which is confusing. And then
why are you laughing, Campfire?
That's what she said, the secret friendship with Robyn. Because no, I know what you mean, because it sort of came out like, oh, you guys were that tight?
Yeah, who knew? Who knew? I didn't see that. And then when she had the conversation with Robyn and Robyn was crying, but then Candace starts crying because Robyn is crying. I feel like that was confusing the viewers as well. So I don't even know about keeping Candace. To be honest with you guys, I'm kind of like over Candace. I feel like she brings a lot of good points to the show, but at the same time, it's a lot of confusion there with her for me.
And I think if people are still confused on, okay, it was okay when they were doing this to other women on the show, but now that they're doing it to you and your family. So there is a community in the RHOP family that feel as if, she's being a hypocrite.
Absolutely. Yeah. She was there for that convo when Gizelle was planning paternity gate or whatever. It was nice that she spoke to Monique about it and whatnot, but she was still friendly with Robyn. She had that secret friendship apparently still after this, so
I'm glad you brought up paternity gate, because like I said, the article is exposing like how RHOP basically shows the worst of Black culture. And so paternity gate is like, it's taken it to the Mari level, like who's the daddy? And so what do y'all think if RHOP had aired that footage or that storyline of Gizelle questioning the paternity of Monique's child? Like, what do y'all think of that?
Again, it goes back to because they're at an executive level, there isn't someone that looks like the women or looks like us. It makes sense why they see no problem with this sort of narrative going around. I'm not sure exactly why they did not necessarily air that particular, storyline. We only found out about it like later on, I think during the reunion that they were doing this. So I think, again, if you don't have people like that look like you or understand you on that level that are making these decisions, of course, these things are going to be handled very irresponsibly.
Yeah.
But do you think that maybe not all skin folk are kinfolk? Because maybe behind there's not people that look like us, but it's people who look like us that are perpetuating this nonsense too,
Sure.
It's just so sick. I was actually working on this. I'm going to be doing a video on this. And it's like kind of like a video essay. And the thesis is that RHOP is fundamentally anti-Black. And we've been seeing anti-Blackness in pretty much all of its forms since season 1. Remember when they were calling people the help and this, that, and the other? And then Robyn to Katie was like, what box is your kid's is your kid's gonna check? They have to check one box. Then what did we get into as well? Monique is hood, she's ghetto, she's ratchet, there's bedwench, there's this, there's that. There's just so much anti-Blackness on this show.
Yeah.
And it's honestly like a little earth-shattering for me that like these, supposedly Black women are so profoundly anti-Black.
Yeah. I kind of feel like it was set up that way with casting. And I guess I don't really get into it much on my channel because it sounds bad, but I felt like when they casted the first season and the majority of the cast from a distance was white passing, I felt like it was done on purpose. Like with and this is nothing against, mixed race people. I feel like mixed race people are being exploited. But with Ashley and Katie, and then Robyn and Gizelle, they're not mixed race in the sense of they don't have one Black parent and one white parent. But Robyn showed her DNA results. Like she's basically mixed race. But I feel like, and even with Karen, she's not mixed race, but from a distance, when she has the blonde hair and everything, she looks white passing. I feel like it was set up to show that it was casted to show that aspect of Black culture that culture that can sometimes be like that bougie culture that kind of looks at certain things as certain things about Black culture, they look down on them. I feel like it was set up that way. And I don't know with white people, I don't know Bravo executives, I don't know if they caught on to it with the casting, but from a Black perspective, I feel like it was obvious.
Because you have to also keep in mind when they do some of these housewives shows, a lot of times they start out as other shows and Bravo just picks them up and changes the name.
Yeah.
So we don't know the original intention behind the people that produced this show.
This one was an etiquette one. That's why they used to talk about etiquette all the time, which was kind of interesting. Who does a show about etiquette, right? But yeah.
But it's that Jack and Jill bull type of culture that I feel like they were showing. I don't think they were trying to show the same type of Black culture that RHOA shows. So I feel like we're seeing like the underbelly of that culture. You know what I mean? With the
now has stemmed into colorism and xenophobia. See, do you see how it's just building and building? So, like you said, what's next? I don't want to see what's next. Honestly, I'm scared.
Right.
You know what? Yeah. Do you guys remember? Sorry, Layla. It just popped into my mind. But do you remember that episode of Gizelle and Robyn's podcast when they were talking about James Harden? How blatantly racist that was.
Yeah.
Like, it's scary. These girls are
wasn't
scary.
that on it though?
Why it should have been. Yeah, it should have been.
Right. They tweeted about it and everything. Both Karen and Wendy tweeted about it. Why wasn't it a storyline? It could have been a huge storyline. It was a better storyline than Gizelle's false allegations against Chris. It's a better storyline than NECA's voodoo and whatnot against Wendy. Why wasn't that addressed? It was such a profound thing. It
was disgusting.
So that it shows the favoritism among the cast, like the executives or somebody at Bravo. You can tell they favor Gizelle and Robyn, so they don't show those things. They give us storylines that, we end up hating, like with the whole voodoo thing and the SA thing. They rather give us those storylines than real storylines because they're protecting those people because they want them to be the face of the show. Shout out to Mims. Shout out to Mims. I feel like okay. I think that Robyn would be better suited to sell Mims to sell tools or flannel shirts, skincare, 18-wheelers, and flipping houses came out of nowhere. Karen did call her the dizziest girl at the table. Now she is really dizzy. If she doing what she says she doing, as far as
swallowing,
yes. Oh my God, with a cheating man. It ain't like he just with you, but if you doing all that with a cheating man, Oh my God, your poor
You guys
throat.
really believe that regular Robyn is swallowing anything besides her food?
I do. I do.
She's
I
such
think
a
Robyn
big
does.
Okay, please tell me why.
I think she does anything for Juan. I think she does anything. Yes, I think she do anything for Juan.
Okay. Let's. Did you both watch the last episode of Potomac?
Yes.
Most of it.
When they well, in the very beginning, I'm sure you saw this part. Rewind the tape. When they go in for this meetup with Mia for the cooking, before they go in, he's like, I gotta call the coach about this job. First of all, he sounded so nice and sweet. He's like, "What's up, baby?" We don't even get "What's up, baby" when she FaceTimes him, or if he'll ever turn the FaceTime on. But
Right.
did you notice this? Because I don't know if they realized the camera was on them, because you can see the cameras from a distance when they're outside. She sort of like steps in front of him, almost like try to be loving, like like, "Hey, boo," and he steps back. He steps back. Body language expert.
Yeah. And he was like, too. He was startled for sure. It's so sad, guys. I think their relationship is a charade. I think they sleep with each other like actually from time to time, but it's not like a thing that they remember last season. One of you guys said this, that they were coming out of bed and like one side of the bed it didn't have a crease. That was you, right, Kemba? Like,
it was Layla.
It was the comments. I remember people were saying it in the comments. They was like, how come it's no type of crease or nothing that shows that he was there?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. I just feel like she does anything. But yeah.
That's fascinating.
Yeah. Because I think she really tries to keep her family together. I think they're both in it like for their kids. But I saw a child, well, this person had grown up, but in their childhood, their parents were together and they weren't happy. And then when they went to college, their parents divorced. And they were so upset because they were like, I realized that I was the alarm clock. And when I turned 18, it was okay for my parents to divorce. And this person was devastated. They were devastated that their parents stayed together for them and they were used as an alarm clock. And that's why I always say it might sound good to stay together for the kids, but like it's not always healthy. You know what I mean? If you stay in a toxic marriage for your kids and then your kids realize that, it's not healthy.
And who knows? The parents could have felt at that moment they didn't realize that they had nothing in common until their child left the house. You just never know.
You never know, but that's not what this person was describing. They were describing things were rough. And then when their parents divorced, they realized that they were just waiting for them to turn 18. Yeah. Yeah. Philly John, what's up, Philly John? My face finally back together again. Ebony Assassin. Okay, Layla. Yes, I like the Ebony Assassin. Shout out to you, Philly John. So, okay. I have two questions. If there's anybody, first of all, if there's anybody you could add to the cast, like we talked about taking away Robyn or any of them could go. But is there anyone that you feel like could add to the RHOP cast?
Absolutely. Sharice.
Really? You almost had me.
You guys were in sync. I love it.
You almost had me.
I wasn't drinking my water. The joke.
Oh God, listen. I can't think of someone that I know in that area. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I would love to have Monique back, and I would love for Monique and Candace to work on their friendship. You know, that would be interesting. But again, we would have to I really want Gizelle out of there. We would have to get rid of Gizelle for me to bring someone in.
So Robyn wouldn't be enough. It wouldn't be enough to get rid of Robyn. Gizelle gotta go.
Yeah, Gizelle dominates. Robyn's kind of just there. You know what I mean? Giselle is the one who's really holding us back.
Yeah.
I agree. I think she really is the determining factor for this cast moving forward. Very much like Teresa is on the Real Housewives of New Jersey. There isn't anyone in particular that I'm thinking of. Monique would be interesting. I think Candace said this during BravoCon. She shaded Monique. So they obviously haven't worked through their issues, but I think Candace and Wendy are more than willing to work through issues with people to move forward, because I think they see the bigger picture of being on this show. Because even recently during that New York Live interview that Candace said, she said, I love my cast. And I was like, oh, really? Even Gizelle?
That's why I think she's confusing. Yeah.
So I feel like she's willing because she sees the bigger picture when it comes to her music and her career that let's get along to make this show successful. Gizelle's not willing to do that, which makes her a stumbling block for this. I think because of everything that's happened with Monique's life, with her divorce and now her co-parenting, it would be interesting to see where she is now. But I don't know if we could have that with a Gizelle being a part of the cast. But how do you guys feel about Mecca?
No. No. Right. No, she dropped the ball. She could have been amazing. When I heard like who she was and stuff, I was like, yes, 2 Nigerian girls doing the damn thing. Their husbands are doing the damn thing. Like, this is going to be beautiful. They're going to be a force. But the way she came in, honestly, I will never forgive her for that she allowed those girls to use her like that. But you know what? Jacqueline, what if we bring her?
So she's been activated on social media recently.
Right. I like her a lot.
A lot of people did. I'm surprised she didn't come back as a friend of.
And now that Gordon's single, isn't he paying her car and whatnot? And oh my God. That could be fun.
Yeah. So if you had to keep, I don't know, who else to add to the cast other than Monique, like, because I feel like she brought a lot to the show as far as like the luxury and things like that. But I don't feel like her and Candace actually need to make up because of what happened between them. Yeah. I don't always feel like you have to make up with people. Like if you feel like somebody violated you that much, like they crossed the line that far, I don't feel like you always have to make up with people. Yeah. But I just like what Monique brought to the show. But if we had to keep this cast, like if we had to keep NECA, for example, what would be a storyline that NECA could have that would make you interested in her? Or if there's any other women on the show, what storyline should they have to kind of like save the show?
That's such a good question, Layla. Wow.
On paper, NECA should be a good fit for the show. But like I said, she came in hot with this storyline that really isn't her own personal storyline. Like we didn't get a chance to even get to know her or more about her before all of this other stuff came into play.
Exactly. Yeah. The only thing I know about her is conceiving, but I don't find that to be that interesting. And that happens in every, every franchise, every city already. So it's not that compelling to me personally.
No. Yeah. I mean, I would have loved to see her plan her Nigerian wedding though.
Yeah.
That would have been interesting.
Wedding yet. I'd love to see that.
I felt like her and Wendy would have conflict. Like when I looked at her background and like her husband is like an investor in a lounge. Like it seemed like her, like the things Wendy wanted, like NECA already had. So I felt like there would be conflict with her and NECA on the show. But I also feel like she could have a storyline like when she, as far as her trying to get pregnant and when they went to the doctor basically blew her off and was like, "You're Nigerian, you'll be fine." Yeah, and I felt like they could have explored that more if she's not getting, the type of medical, treatment or whatever that she would need to get pregnant. They could explore that. Just her real like family life, I feel like they could explore.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it looks like in the comments, y'all not feeling NECA.
Someone mentioned Love and Marriage DC. It's Ashley because she really knows these women. They all party together. So I could definitely see Ashley being a part of this group. But I think she's tried before and producers don't feel like, or at least Bravo executives don't feel like she would be a good fit.
Yeah, I think she said something about that. Like Real Housewives of Potomac kept coming like to her, but it was something about it that wasn't a fit. Yeah. But I think she could handle them too. So I don't know why she's not a fit for the show, but I feel like she could handle them.
Yeah. Real for her. Like she really knows these women. They really interact and party together.
Yeah. So I'm hoping for the best as far as the ending of this season of the Real Housewives of Potomac, and I hope it improves. I was actually excited when they said that the showrunner Eric Fuller was fired. I was excited. I was like, this is great. We can start anew. We can improve the show. But unfortunately, he's still there. And we'll see what turn it takes next.
So what was the deal with the announcements then? Because I saw that announcement. So why is he still there?
I believe it was fake. What was circulating on Reddit and on social media, I believe it was fake. I know someone that's actually friends with him on LinkedIn, and they said they didn't see that either. But I was telling Layla as well, it also wouldn't, if it is real, it wouldn't shock me that he's looking for work. Doesn't mean that he doesn't still work for Bravo or Truly Original. But remember, Real Housewives of Atlanta is on a major hiatus because they're casting for this reboot, this shakeup. So there is a lull in his schedule.
Yeah. Yeah. So I want to thank you all for joining me, Kempire and Grace Report. I love that we reconvened, we reassembled our dream team. And thank you all for watching in the comments. I'm going to upload, I'm streaming to Facebook now, but I'm going to upload this to my YouTube channel. But thanks, you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Layla, Layla, Layla.